Good morning and welcome to the Morning Scoop for Tuesday, September 8th. This is your daily Buckeye fix. I'm Tom Orr. The Big Ten could hold a vote as early as today to start its fall 2020 football season sometime in October. The league's return to play committee has been putting together documentation that our Nevada Buck reported will include information such as medical testimony, COVID protocols, schedule, contingency plans, and more. The wild mood swings that just about every Big Ten fan from State College to Lincoln has been going through for the past 6 weeks or so are likely to take another turn one way or another sometime in the next 24 hours. My guest today is Buckeye Scoop's Bill Greene. Bill, we have seen over and over again this summer that this whole situation is just kind of wildly unpredictable. But Monday, you wrote about how you were feeling pretty optimistic that a season would start in October. So why is that?
Yeah, and it's not so much any inside information or any source. Who the people I've talked to have been all over the board. And like I try to tell people, I do speak to a Big Ten head coach every 10 days or so and checking in on Ohio kids that he can recruit. And, when someone in that position asks me, what am I hearing? That kind of tells me that, the information out there is changing daily and nobody really knows. And, so, I'm just going off my gut instinct, trying to put the tea leaves together from my experiences over the years. And I just think this is a battle that the Big Ten presidents and Kevin Warren, they're losing. I think a lot of the way it's transpired is not the way they thought it would go from the beginning. They had the Pac-12 on their side. I think they fully expected that the other three would either join them immediately or soon down the road. Once the positive tests started coming, I think the Big Ten really felt like there would be a cancellation by now. And all they needed was one of those Power Five schools to cancel. You really can't go on with just two conferences. They need three. So I think they felt, and we've gotten the positive tests, and nobody's canceling. They're reshifting some games around. It just seems like the focus now is more on hospitalizations and deaths, which are not really occurring, and less on the positive tests. So I think that has certainly changed things for them. And then you look into the Nebraska situation with how strongly, they are challenging this thing. I think Randy Wade and the parents group, I think, has certainly had a positive impact on this as well. I think there's a little bit of dissent in the ranks within the Big Ten presidents. And, I think the biggest thing is probably Tom Orr's threatening legal action, looking for disclosure, and they certainly don't want to do that. I think when you add everything in, I think they're losing. And I think what they're looking for now is just a way out to save face. And I think they have that with the rapid testing, with further information on the heart issue that can come up. So I think there's a way out for them. And I also think they would almost be forced to allow the schools that want to play, and the schools that want to opt out, so that they seem both compassionate toward the health of the kids, but also allowing free will for allowing the schools and the players that want to play to go ahead and do so, the same way that Kevin Warren's own son has chosen to play this year. So I think they're losing this battle. And I think at some point, these people are not going to put their jobs on the line, for their principal. They are going to look to save their own skin here. And I think and I'm just guessing, but I think we're getting to that point where they're going to be looking for a way out of this so that they can save face and save their jobs as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is you had in there the first rule of politics is getting reelected, and that can't happen. That can't happen if you get kicked out. And is this the hill they want to die on? I mean, Mark Schlissel, who is the president of Michigan, he's getting it kind of from both sides right now. Over the weekend, the Michigan football parents had a big protest march, including Jim Harbaugh out on the Michigan campus, and then on Monday, the Michigan Graduate Student Union had a die-in protest because they don't want to be teaching. So you've got the football parents angry that they're not getting to play. You've got the grad students angry that they don't feel they're being protected enough. And there's Mark Schlissel in the middle. He's got anger to the left of him, anger to the right of him, and kind of nowhere to go. That's probably not a real comfortable spot for him. And as you said, I think this is a group of people that thought that they were going to be the legends and the leaders here. They were going to be the ones that led the way, and they had the intestinal fortitude to scrap it when everyone else knew it was the right decision but hadn't quite come around to it yet. Because you saw all those leaks from all the reporters that the Big Ten leaks to, talking about, expect by the end of the week, the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 are going to fall in line here, and they're going to cancel too. And then it didn't happen, and it didn't happen, and it didn't happen. And all of a sudden it was like, I think they're in trouble.
Right.
You touched on something there that I want to kind of circle back to, which is the vote/no vote. Did a vote really happen? Was there an official vote? Because that's another spot where the Big Ten is getting it from both sides. You've got the Nebraska lawsuit, which is 8 players, which, again, the Big Ten friendly leaks were, this is going to get laughed out of the courtroom. And well, they had their first hearing, and no, it did not get laughed out of the courtroom. And now the Big Ten has to provide some documentation. And on the other side, you've got Tom Orr, who's the attorney who helped Justin Fields get his waiver of eligibility. He was also involved in the Shea Patterson eligibility case. He was also the one that was Houston Nutt's attorney that ended up finding the phone records for Hugh Freeze down at Mississippi. That was
right.
A memorable and amusing whole scandal down there. That was Tom Orr's. And, I think the takeaway there is don't mess with Tom Orr's. And now the Big Ten has to deal with Tom Orr's because he's filed Freedom of Information Act requests for the 13 public institutions in the Big Ten. I mean, and that's stuff they have to reply to. They do not have the option of not replying to that. They have to answer those. And you've got a bunch of university presidents and conference leaders who are now kind of in maybe a bad spot. I mean, he has been speculating that people may have been voting without having, they may have had some kind of a vote or put your hand up kind of thing, that even if it wasn't official, that now those presidents don't want to have to go answer to their board of trustees. Like, why didn't you talk to us before you voted on this? That's another thing. I mean, that's another spot where they're facing a real uncomfortable position, because if you did what the speculation has been, and you went and you voted and you didn't have your board sort of aligned with you, and you just scrapped the season, that could put you as a university president in a real awkward spot.
No doubt. I mean, this is mounting against them. And like I said, I think they totally misread this situation. I think they really felt they could hide behind health, the heart issue. I don't think they ever felt the connection would be made that there may be a political slant here. And, they're bringing up statements that Kevin Warren made about getting students to register to vote. There are emails from Mark Schlissel that are very anti-Donald Trump. I mean, so politics now has gotten brought into it, they certainly didn't want that. And, it's just not going the way they thought it would go. I don't think even their willing allies in the press, the Dennis Dodds of the world, really aren't as loud as what they were maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. They don't want to die on that hill either. So it just has turned against them. I think they need a way out. I think we're going to see a way out real soon. And I think we're going to see Ohio State and the Big Ten, those that want to play, I think we're going to see them playing in the fall. And if you can work your way into the playoffs, I think we'll see a Big Ten team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and there have been a couple people, sources who have talked to various of us on staff at Buckeye Scoop, that it sure sounds like Tuesday is probably the day. I mean, Ohio State is anticipating having a decision by Wednesday is something that we've heard. So, there's a bunch that's sort of there's nothing certain right now, and I don't think anyone has had any real firm intelligence that this is definitely what the vote is going to be, and this is definitely going to happen. But it sure sounds like it's going to happen soon.
Right.
And, I think the big question right now, when you look at the pressure that's on Kevin Warren, Dr. Schlissel at Michigan, the other presidents, what's the way out? I mean, I think it sure feels like they are probably going to be looking for a way out here that can kind of take some of the pressure off, maybe solve the problem, but do it in a way that sort of saves face. I mean,
right.
Is that rapid testing? Is that something that allows them to do that? I mean, how do they sort of balance that with not wanting to say, look, we were wrong and we were hasty in August, but still be able to sort of take that pressure off?
Yeah, I think the rapid testing does help their case, that they could say, We made a decision at the time that was the right decision. Now we have more information. We have more information than we had before. We're going to leave it up to the individual institutions. And I think that's their way out. That's their way out.
Well, if that decision does come, it could come as soon as today. That's sort of what we're anticipating is Tuesday, maybe Wednesday we'll hear. But I mean, once again, we have been riding this roller coaster for 6-8 weeks now, and every time you think you're to the top of the hill, it plunges back down, and you think you're going to the bottom, and all of a sudden you're coming back up. And yeah, it has been a wild couple months. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I am feeling more optimistic that something is going to happen for the Big Ten in October. It may not be all 14. It probably will not be 14, would be my guess. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think I'm, as I said on Buckeye Weekly last week, I'm ready to get hurt again. I'm ready to believe. I'm ready to be optimistic again. We'll see if that works out better this time than it did last week. But I think I'm with you. And what do you think? What is your best guess in terms of how many teams are playing? Is it all 14? Is it 9 teams are playing? Is it and when does this happen? What's your best guess?
I think I think it has to happen soon, because I think the more egg on their face, the longer this goes. And I think it's going to happen this week, a definitive decision. And then in terms of who plays and who doesn't play, I don't know. I mean, it looked like, you thought for sure the Michigan schools would absolutely not play, but Michigan high school football is now on the table again. So maybe they all play. I don't know, Tom. That's a tough one there, how it will go. But I think it does give the presidents a way out if they do leave it up to the individual institutions and not be firm like they were when they canceled everybody. Now leave it up to the institutions. It takes the pressure off the individual presidents as a committee and leaves it in the hands of the schools themselves. And I think that's the way they'll go on this. And as to who plays and who doesn't, man, your guess will be as good as mine on that one.
Yeah, I think the only thing we've learned in the last 6 weeks is you shouldn't guess at anything, because whatever logic you're applying to any situation probably is not going to be the way it plays out. It's
right.
This has been a wildly unpredictable couple months.
No doubt.
Bill, thank you for joining us. Boy, if this is shaping up like a week that might be a good time to have access to a whole bunch of insiders. So this would be a great time to go visit BuckeyeScoop.com, sign up for a membership, get access to our Ask the Insiders board. We have people asking us questions all the time on exactly what we're hearing and what's the latest and what are people saying, and what's the what is the mood of people behind the scenes. So you can get all of that on our Ask the Insiders board at BuckeyeScoop.com. We have had quite a run of great insider insight from our Nevada Buck, who is our legendary insider. He's had a ton of great information over the last couple weeks, and that has definitely been worth the price of admission all by itself. So, and if you sign up now, if the Big Ten starts playing on October 10th, hey, guess what? That's just a little over 4 months away. So you will have game week coverage if you sign up right now on BuckeyeScoop.com, and the Big Ten does what it looks like the Big Ten could do. So just think about that, but also check out BuckeyeScoop.com for plenty of free, great content outside of the paywall as well. And you can find all of our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud. Just search Buckeye Scoop to find all those. You can subscribe right there, and also leave us a 5-star rating and review. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.